One M1 Abrams tank could conquer the entire Roman Empire in 6 months. Not a battalion, not an army. One tank with a 4-man crew and adequate fuel supply could defeat every legion Rome ever fielded, capture every city from Britannia to Egypt, and force the Senate to surrender unconditionally. And the Romans wouldn't even understand what was killing them. Here's why a single tank would be absolutely unstoppable. An M1 Abrams fires depleted uranium shells at 1,750 meters per second. That's 5 times the speed of sound. The shell would punch through a Roman shield wall, through the soldiers behind it, through the stone wall behind them, and keep going. Roman soldiers wouldn't see the projectile. They'd just watch their formation explode into body parts and have no idea what happened. The tank's armor is designed to withstand modern anti-tank missiles. Roman weapons, swords, spears, arrows, catapults would be like throwing pebbles at a battleship. A Roman ballista bolt hitting a tank would bounce off without leaving a scratch. The legionnaires would attack with everything they had, and the tank crew wouldn't even feel it. But here's what makes this scenario truly terrifying for Rome. The psychological impact would be worse than the military destruction. Imagine you're a Roman soldier. You've trained your entire life. You've conquered Gaul, defeated Carthage, and built an empire. Now you're facing something that sounds like thunder, moves faster than a galloping horse, and kills hundreds of men in seconds with invisible projectiles. Your weapons don't hurt it. Your tactics don't work. Your gods don't protect you. You'd think you were fighting a demon. This is exactly how one modern tank would conquer ancient Rome. Why Roman military tactics would be completely useless, and how the entire campaign would unfold from first contact to final surrender. Let's start with the most likely scenario. The year is 113 AD. Rome is at the peak of its power under Emperor Trajan. A Roman legion, 5,000 professional soldiers, the most advanced military force in the ancient world, encounters the tank on an open field outside Rome. The legion does exactly what it's trained to do. They form testudo formation, shields interlocked above and in front, creating a mobile armored box. This formation has won battles against Celts, Germans, and Parthians. It's unstoppable by ancient standards. The centurion orders advance. The tank crew sees them coming from 3,000 meters away. The thermal sight can spot human-sized targets at that range even through dust or darkness. The gunner identifies the formation. The commander gives the order. The 120 main gun fires. 1 second later, the center of the formation ceases to exist. The depleted uranium shell impacts at hypersonic speed. The kinetic energy is equivalent to a small bomb. 20 soldiers evaporate instantly. 30 more are shredded by spalling, fragments of metal and stone moving at supersonic speeds. The tightly packed formation becomes a killing zone. 1 shot. 50 casualties. The Legion has never seen anything like this. No smoke. No fire trail. No warning. Just sudden catastrophic death appearing from nowhere. The officers have no idea what happened or where the attack came from. They know doctrine, reform, and advance. They do exactly that. The tank fires again. 4 seconds between shots. Another 50 Romans dead. The Legion is in chaos now. Officers are screaming orders. Soldiers are breaking formation. Some are running. Most are standing still in shock, trying to understand what's happening. The tank switches to the M2.50 caliber machine gun. This weapon fires 600 rounds per minute. Each bullet can punch through brick walls. Against unarmored humans, it's like a fire hose of death. The gunner holds the trigger for 10 seconds. 100 Romans fall. 15 seconds of combat. The Legion has lost 20% of its force and hasn't seen the enemy yet. The surviving officers make the only rational decision: retreat. They turn to run. The tank pursues at 45 miles per hour, faster than a horse at full gallop. The massacre continues. By the time the Legion reaches the woods 3 miles away, 3,000 of the original 5,000 are dead. The survivors are psychologically destroyed. News reaches Rome by sunset. A full legion, Rome's elite military force routed by a single enemy. The descriptions from survivors sound insane. A metal beast that moves without horses, thunder that kills from invisible distances, weapons that can't harm it. The Senate thinks it's mass hysteria or cowardice. They send 3 more legions to investigate. The tank destroys all 3 in one afternoon. Same tactics, same results. 15,000 professional soldiers dead or routed. Now Rome knows this isn't hysteria. This is something they've never encountered. Something they don't know how to fight. Rome conquered the Mediterranean through adaptive tactics. They lost early naval battles to Carthage, then invented the Corvus boarding ramp and won the Punic Wars. They faced Hannibal's elephants and developed counter-tactics. Surely they can adapt. They try everything. None of it works. Strategy 1. Night attacks. Roman commanders reason that if they can't see this demon machine during day, they'll attack at night when it can't see them. 500 soldiers creep toward the tank's last known position at midnight. The tank's thermal imaging spots them at 2,000 meters. Every human appears as a bright white shape against the cool ground. The tank crew watches them approach like it's daytime. When the Romans get within 500 meters, the slaughter begins. Thermal sights don't need light. The Romans discover this when their night attack becomes a night massacre. Strategy 2. Siege tactics. If they can't defeat it in open battle, they'll trap it. Roman engineers are the best in the ancient world. They dig massive ditches, build earthworks, create obstacles designed to immobilize the tank. The tank drives straight through them. Earthworks designed to stop humans and horses do nothing to 70 tons of armored steel. Ditches. The tank crosses gaps up to 8 feet wide. Obstacles. The tank's engine produces 1,500 horsepower. It pushes through barriers like they're paper. Strategy 3. Overwhelming numbers. Rome mobilizes every available legion. 30,000 soldiers converge on the tank's location. The commanders figure even if this demon can kill hundreds, it can't kill thousands before they overrun it. They're wrong. The tank has 42 main gun rounds, 1,000 machine gun rounds for the .50 cal, and 10,000 rounds for the 7.62 mm coaxial machine gun. That's enough ammunition to kill or wound 15,000 soldiers. The tank opens fire at maximum range and systematically destroys the Roman formations. When ammunition runs low, the tank retreats at 45 miles per hour. The Romans on foot can't pursue. The tank resupplies and returns. The pattern repeats. 30,000 soldiers can't even touch it. Strategy 4. Starvation. They'll wait. The beast must need food or water or something to sustain it. They're right. The tank needs fuel and ammunition. But here's the problem. The tank doesn't need daily resupply. With a full load, it can operate for 300 miles. That's weeks of tactical movement. And where does it resupply? Wherever it wants. The tank raids Roman supply depots, destroys pursuers, and takes what it needs. The Romans can't defend every depot because they don't know where the tank will strike next. Rome tries every tactical innovation that made them masters of the ancient world. Discipline, engineering, adaptability, numbers. None of it matters against a weapon system they have no conceptual framework to understand. They're fighting with swords against something designed to defeat modern anti-tank missiles. The technology gap isn't incremental, it's absolute. But here's where the real campaign begins. The tank crew realizes they don't need to kill every Roman soldier. They need to destroy Roman morale, and they're doing that just by existing. The tank appears outside Rome's walls. It doesn't attack. It just sits there, 1,000 meters away, clearly visible. Roman citizens line the walls to see the demon that destroyed their legions. The tank fires a single shot at the wall. The 120 mm round punches through 10 feet of stone like it's clay. The wall that's protected Rome for centuries has a hole you could drive a chariot through. The message is clear. Your defenses are meaningless. Then it appears outside another city. Same demonstration. One shot. wall destroyed. Then it leaves, then another city, then another city, then another city. The tank is systematically proving that nowhere in the empire is safe. Any wall can be breached. Any army can be destroyed. Resistance is futile. The reports coming into Rome are getting worse. The tank isn't just winning battles, it's breaking the empire's will to fight. Legions are refusing deployment orders. Cities are surrendering at the first sight of the metal demon. Provincial governors are declaring neutrality rather than face it. The empire is collapsing from psychological terror more than military defeat. But here's the genius of the campaign. The tank crew doesn't need to occupy territory or garrison cities. They just need to prove they can destroy anything that resists. Every time Rome rebuilds an army, the tank annihilates it. Every time a city refuses surrender, the tank breaches the walls and withdraws, proving it could have massacred the population but chose not to. The mercy is more terrifying than the violence because it demonstrates absolute control. 6 months after first contact, Emperor Trajan receives an ultimatum. The message is simple: surrender the empire or watch it burn. Trajan is a warrior emperor. He's never surrendered to anyone. He mobilizes every remaining legion, 40,000 soldiers, for a final decisive battle. If Rome concentrates its full military might in one place, surely they can overwhelm this demon through sheer weight of numbers. The tank doesn't fight the battle. Instead, it drives straight to Rome while the legions are marching to the battlefield. The city's walls are useless, already proven. The urban cohorts defending the city are slaughtered in minutes when they try to form ranks in the streets. The tank parks in the forum. The crew demands the Senate surrender, or they'll demolish the city building by building. The Senate surrenders, not because they're cowards, but because every military option has failed. Every tactical innovation has been useless. Every sacrifice of Roman lives has accomplished nothing. The tank has proven it can destroy armies, breach any fortification, appear anywhere, and disappear at will. Continuing to fight would just mean watching the empire die slowly. At least surrender might preserve something. Trajan is forced to publicly submit. The warrior emperor who never lost a battle must kneel before a metal demon and cede control of the empire. The legions marching to the battlefield receive orders to stand down. Rome, master of the known world, falls to a single weapon system with a 4-man crew. But here's the darkest part. Rome doesn't fall through dramatic final battles or heroic last stands. It falls through the slow realization that resistance is pointless. The tank doesn't need to kill everyone. It just needs to prove that any resistance will be crushed instantly and effortlessly. Once that's proven, the will to fight evaporates. The empire that conquered the Mediterranean through discipline and courage surrenders because discipline and courage are irrelevant against weapons that operate beyond their comprehension. People might think this is exaggerated. One tank can't really conquer an empire. Right. Actually, this scenario is conservative. Here's why: we assume the tank only uses kinetic weapons. Modern tanks can fire high explosive rounds that kill everything within a 50-meter radius. One shot could eliminate 200 tightly packed Roman soldiers instead of 50. We assumed standard armor-piercing rounds because they're what the tank normally carries. We assumed the Romans can see the tank. Modern thermal smoke generators can make tanks invisible, even at close range. If the tank deployed smoke before each engagement, Romans wouldn't even see what was killing them. They'd just die in a cloud of impenetrable smoke while something invisible slaughtered them. We assumed the tank fights alone. If this scenario included air support, artillery, or even a second tank, Rome would fall in weeks instead of months. One tank is already overkill. Multiple modern weapon systems would make resistance literally impossible within days. We assumed Romans could damage the tank with preparation time. They can't. The armor is designed to withstand 125 mm armor-piercing rounds fired at point-blank range. Roman catapults fire wooden bolts at a fraction of that energy. A catapult bolt hitting a tank would have the same effect as you throwing a rock at a bank vault. No ancient weapon system, not Greek fire, not siege engines, not anything could scratch modern tank armor. The technology gap is so extreme that Romans might not even understand the tank is a human creation. They might think it's a god or demon. Their entire conceptual framework doesn't include machines powered by engines. Chariots need horses. Ships need oars or sails. Everything moves through animal power or human power. A machine that moves itself, fires invisible projectiles, and can't be harmed by any weapon. That's not technology to them. That's supernatural.